Chapter 414. Ah, is it over there? I hear some noise. Just as Kana had said, Jidir's destination was at the place where a noisy sound was coming from. Located on a secluded hill slightly away from the other mansions, there stood a rare and antique mansion. There was a disturbance in front of the main gate at the junction leading to that place. What do you mean I can't enter? I'm sorry, but all the invitations for the guests attending the Tenu Merchant Joint Auction today have already been sent out. If you don't have an invitation, you cannot enter. But I had it when I left home, but I lost it. Don't you understand? We can't do anything about it. To prevent any unpleasant incidents, if you don't have an invitation, you can't enter no matter what happens. How can it be that I, who came last year, cannot enter? Can't you see beyond just selling a few items? Do you not know how well acquainted I am with Baron Wilhelm? Bring the person in charge at once. A nobleman who had denied entry to the auction was quarreling with the guards at the door. He was furious that he couldn't enter because he had lost his invitation, but the guards firmly stopped him. Baron Wilhelm holds an auction here, and it seems he's making a great fuss all over the empire. Everyone must have known who was holding the auction, but officially, not only Duke Dane but also Baron Wilhelm himself had nothing to do with the auction. I'm sorry, but please leave. If you continue to cause a scene. Is the Baron not here? If I see him, the problem will be solved. Then I will not leave you guys alone. ... A troubled and fearful expression spread across the soldiers' faces. They were just doing their job, and they didn't want to get into trouble with the nobleman, so there was nothing they could do. Finally, the quarreling nobleman forcefully moved his carriage up, and the soldiers ran after him. Thanks to this, the main gate was left completely empty. Yudhir, should we not go over there? I have heard that protection magic has been cast all around, except for the paths accessible by carriage. We have to go to another door to join up with the other members. In the mansion where the auction was being held, there was one secret entrance that neither guests nor workers knew about. Finding that was the biggest gain Fruel got while digging for information. A little reading of the information and then leaving. That seemed fine. Yudhir silently landed in front of the empty main gate. Kana, who had alighted from his back, quietly touched the gate's carvings and walls without wasting time. I read a lot of thoughts and information from the people who passed through this door. There must have been many intense things happening. While Kana was closing her eyes and focusing on reading the information, Yudhir kept watch around. Seeing the row of carriages parked near the distant buildings, it seemed that many guests had already arrived. I'm not sure if it will start as scheduled without Baron Wilhelm coming. Neither the southern merchant who had come before them nor Nahan were to be seen. The southern merchant, who was supposed to move the goods clearly, had an obvious task. Since things had gone awry, he must have been thinking of taking the goods out right away. Since we already know who is involved, it's not urgent even if we miss them. Yudhir recalled the information found in a note from Finn Eldor, which he had inspected and incinerated after his visit to the security management team. Finn had dismissed the information as trivial, but Yudhir realized it might be useful later on, not just right now. While they were outside the inn, I took a quick look around their room using my abilities. Most of their belongings were ordinary, but there was one item with this symbol drawn on it. It's hard to describe, so I will draw it. A comet, the horizon, and a sword that cut above it, all forming a few simple lines. It was the symbol of the largest tribe in the south, a tribe that had extensive interactions with the countries north of the desert, including the Ur Empire in his previous life. I will have to find out more about this as soon as this matter is settled. Unlike the move of the southern merchant, where they were clear about what was behind him, it was difficult to guess in detail how the Nahan would move in the current situation. But it probably won't be much different from what I originally expected. Even without Urshi, the standpoint of avenging on behalf of her will not have changed. Nahan, that person. Today, the first time I saw him properly, and I didn't think he would abandon his comrades again like that. Kana murmured quietly, exuding a mirage like energy from her hand as she read the information. He abandoned the comrades who came to help him, like Gale and Doyle, and now he's left behind the comrade who said he would help with the revenge. Could he really just abandon his task and run away again with the remaining comrades? No, Yidhir answered with conviction. He will continue Urshi's revenge even without Urshi. I can't understand. What is the meaning of someone else continuing a revenge when the person needing revenge is gone? Just think of him as someone who sees that as the purpose itself. It was not surprising that Urshi, who had insisted on killing Baron Wilhelm despite the resistance from the cavalry, was left behind. Hadn't he seen several times that Nahan was someone who could easily abandon comrades and minor objectives, prioritizing his own standards and safety? Gale and Doyle had been discarded like that, and now it was Urshi's turn. This incident, announced as helping Urshi's revenge, would not be very difficult for him. In the end, what mattered to Nahan was not Urshi's revenge, but the revenge of Urshi. He would gather comrades by mobilizing them for the cause of doing what he wanted to do at someone else's request, and inflame their hatred. Even if Urshi died here, it would not be Nahan's responsibility, but the responsibility of the cavalry, and the remaining comrades would become even more loyal to Nahan. Truly a wicked man, and yet he believed what he was doing was right. He was truly an unpleasant madman. They were not comrades, they were just means to an end. Kana also seems to have the same thought. Why does the sage that Gale and Doyle believed in keep condoning Nahan? Does he know that Nahan completely ruined the village of the Awakener in the Great Serene Forest? The possibility that what we thought was moderation was just a mask. It's common for a leader who plays a good role externally to secretly assign subordinates to do things contrary to his position to keep opposing opinions under control. Yudhir spoke, recalling Emperor Kashtian. At that moment, Kana, who had been continually using her abilities around them, suddenly looked at Yudhir with a strange expression. Wow, Yudhir, you just sounded a little like Commander. I was. At that unexpected remark, all focus was shattered. I mean, no, anyway, it seems I have read everything we need to, so let's go. Carrying Kana again and heading towards the secret entrance, Yudhir reflected anew on how incredibly powerful Hosanna's teleportation ability was, especially when combined with Nahan. Even without specializing in teleportation ability, just using Finn Eldor's ability made escaping unnoticed from a mansion as easy as pie, especially when it came to Hosanna, who could transport multiple people, including himself, over long distance at the same time. The fact that they hadn't yet captured Nahan was half due to his presence. The soldiers we saw just now was anxious because Baron Wilhelm hadn't arrived yet, and I think I also read a little information related to those associated with Nahan. Kana, riding on Yidhir's back, briefly mentioned the information she had gathered. People related to Nahan. There were changes among the workers who entered here this morning. Some new people joined in places of the ones who were originally supposed to come. A soldier was angry about it, but he later thought he had seen wrong and then let them pass. Isn't that strange? It must be an illusion ability. If that's not it, it would be inexplicable. The perception was unnatural. You're amazing, Kana. As Yidhir sincerely praised Kana, Kana smiled in pleasure. I wasn't just playing around in the great serene forest. At that moment, the entrance of the secret passage revealed itself. The two approached quietly, opened the door, and entered. It wasn't long before they saw the familiar faces of the cavalry members who had gathered. Yidhir, we were worried you were late, and Kana's with you. Was there anything else on your way here? No, we came right here as soon as you have signaled. Among the members were other colleagues who had been there since morning, specifically Rebel, the Awakener from the Star of Nagran.